Hi there. Welcome to the Western Mass Moms Partnership Program. And this is the Mom Stress Management course. We're going to take a look at class number 6 today, which is problem solving and my mood. So we'll maybe review a little bit about chapter 5. And of course, we're going to look at Violet and Mary. They've been with us through the whole program. And problem solving in your mood and the impact that being able to solve a problem has on your mood. We're going to choose a problem to work on, and then we're going to give you 5 steps on how to do problem solving, which is really a life skill that you want to practice and you want to become familiar with. And then we'll take a look at problem solving scenarios. So even when life is stressful, you can choose to do pleasant activities. By choosing to do pleasant activities, you can change your mood and at least a small part of your life. So in chapter 5, you were asked to take a look at pleasant activities. And then positive reinforcement is an approach that can be used to grow the good. We talked about purposely finding ways to grow the good and recognize that which is going positively in our relationships, which involves focusing on and responding to what's going right more than what's going wrong. Catch them doing something right and do it often. Serve and return is another way to grow the good. We talked about that in chapter 5 in our relationships, which involves noticing and responding back when someone has reached out for connection. And connection is the most powerful thing that we can do. Staying connected. Serve and return is vital for children's healthy development, and lays the foundation for healthy communication between adults as well. We all want to feel connected, and it's important that we keep that in the forefront to figure out how to do it. So there are relaxation exercises. There's the deep breathing, there's the windmill, and then there's the bending forward. And my favorite is the breath. So let's start out by doing just that. Get yourself comfortable, relax, put your feet on the ground, kind of like relax your shoulders. And you can put your hand on your chest and your other hand on your belly so you can feel it moving in and out. So take a breath in, feel the air come in through the bottom of your nose. You breathe in, do it with me now. Breathe in and exhale, breathe out. Breathe in again. And one more time. Breathe in. Great. So for those 3 breaths, your whole body begins to calm down. You begin to reduce the stress. And the dialogue in your mind also begins to quiet. So if you can do that, just take a big breath, maybe 3, 4, 5 times a day, and remind yourself to take a breath, your life will change. The breath is an amazing companion. So you want to make friends with your breath. So let's take a look on page 6.6 to Violet's Day and Mary's Day. They're the lovely ladies that take us through thinking issues. They have a bubble of thought. And what we're going to do is we're going to read down Violet's Day and decide if that were you, what mood scale would you be on? 1 being a pretty sad mood, 10 being a really good mood. So Violet will start out with, she says in her head, I should do an activity with the kids today. Careful about should, because sometimes that pressure also makes us feel a little stressed. So she might be feeling maybe a 3 or a 4. I should definitely do something. Then she says, but I don't know what we can do. I give up. It's too much work. A thought has an impact on her mood. And so when she thinks that thought, if it were me, I probably now would be a 3. I would not be happy camper. She's in bed. Her kids are fighting. So she might be thinking, can't do anything right. These kids are driving me crazy. I'm just going to roll over and stay in bed. That might make my mood a 2. But you go ahead and decide how you would be and what you might say in your mind. And then by the end of the day, that, sad face feels like, oh, I blew the day. I'm just hoping that tomorrow's going to be better. And I might go to sleep at a 2 or a 1 even, because I just didn't do anything I wanted to do. So now let's take a look at Mary. And she's a little bit braver than Violet because she knows the skills of changing her thoughts. She says, I should do an activity with the kids today. And she might feel a little like, sad or confused or not sure what to do. And she might have a mood. I might have a mood of, I don't know what to do. And maybe it's a 3 or a 4. And then she asks herself a question. What kinds of activities can I do with the kids? So right away, her mood is going to change because she has some hope, because she changed her thoughts. You have the power to change what you think. So if that were me, I might have a 4 or a 5 thinking, oh, I've got to come up with something. Sure enough, Mary comes up with ideas because she opened the door to thinking. So I could take him to the park. I could take him to the library. We could read a story together. I could get out the toys. So now I have options, and my mood is starting to improve, maybe to a 5 or a 6. And so finally, by the end of the day, I feel like I've accomplished something, and my mood feels a little bit better, and my stress level begins to go down. Nicely done. She was brave. So on page 6.7, problem solving and your mood. Problem solving is an important life skill. Learning how to approach a problem can help you feel less stressed and overwhelmed and can improve your mood. We know that. Everybody's got problems and we want to be able to solve them. As we have seen in other classes, having a more positive mood can then enable us to feel more capable and use our skills more effectively. One part reinforces the other. And the little illustration shows you that effective problem solving is going to create a positive mood. But a positive mood can also help you solve the problem. Because when you're feeling positive and you're positive thinking, you're almost like your arena opens up to possibilities. So your mood has an impact. So on the next page, 6.8, they ask us to choose a problem to work on using some steps. So we all have problems we would like to solve, for sure. I was suggesting that we change the word problem to project. So instead of saying I have a problem, I say I have a project. Again, I've changed my words and my thoughts. And having a project is a little bit easier thinking than having a problem. Okay, so I've got a project. And today we will learn an approach to effectively problem solve that involves 5 steps. It starts by choosing a problem to work on, or a project. And this may seem simple, but it can be a little tricky. So you want to state the problem. Be very clear and specific about the problem you are going to try to tackle. Problems that are all too general or vague are very hard to solve. Choose a problem that is not too big or complex. It is important to try to break bigger problems up into smaller problems that are more manageable and can be worked on one at a time. It's an interesting skill to begin asking yourself, what really is the problem? And whose problem is it anyway? So we're going to look at some examples that are too general and too vague, and too big and too complex. So on the left-hand side of the page, it says, my child is bad. Well, that's like really hard to describe, and it is very vague. So if I were going to be more specific, I could say, my child ignores me when I ask them to do something. That's very specific. Now I know what kind of a project I'm going to work on. Another big general one is I'm unhealthy. Too big, can't solve it, too many issues. But if I get more specific and say, I need to get my blood pressure down, now I've got some direction in order to help me figure that out. If I say, my life is a mess, and many times even I feel like it's a mess, but that's too big. I don't know what to do with it. And then I just leave it, but I want to solve it. So instead I can say, I keep missing appointments. I need to keep better track. So if I know that about myself, I can then develop a solution. I keep applying to jobs, but they never choose me. Much too broad, because we don't really know why. Instead, I want to be specific. The hardest part of the job application process for me is the interview. I need to learn some interviewing skills. And that I can get help with, which is really important. So on page 6.9, there are 5 steps to problem solving that we want to learn and we also want to practice. State the problem, be clear and specific. Now I want to brainstorm ideas, which means paper and pencil help. Try to think of as many possible solutions as you can. Be creative, flexible, and think outside the box with your ideas and use skills you have already learned in this course. Stay positive and keep your mind and your mood in a positive direction. And then out of your brainstorming list, choose a solution. Think about the pros and cons of each possible solution. Consider your personal resources. What does each solution require, and is this available to you? Can you make that possible? What are some of the obstacles you might face in that particular solution? Then pick a solution you think that will work. So now we're working our way through solving the problem. Carry out the solution. Make it happen. Then what steps are needed to carry out the solution? And then set a date by which you will have carried out the solution so that I know exactly what I'm going to do when. If I need to get help in interviewing skills, I'm going to reach out to a coach or to someone who can help me. And certainly, I want you to remember that our Moving Forward group is always available to you to help you solve those issues. And then say within 2 weeks, I will have talked to somebody to help me learn some new interviewing skills. Now I can solve that problem. Then I want to evaluate the outcome. If you faced any obstacles, how can you overcome them next time? And if you were able to carry out the solution, how did this improve your mood? Certainly when you solve a problem, you feel better about it. So on page 610, they're asking you to take a look at some examples for problem solving. And what you can do is to pick one, and then it's really a good idea to write it down. In fact, the rest of your homework is all around problem solving. So find a problem that you might have, be very specific with it, brainstorm possible solutions, choose a solution, carry out the solution, and then evaluate the outcome. And certainly feel free to get in touch with your CMHA or with your clinician to help you figure out how you can do that. Or you can take your homework back to the next class and share with your class what you came up with so that you can get feedback and you can get ideas on how to help you solve the problem. We don't have to be problem solvers all by ourselves. You're more than welcome to ask people who you care about and who love you, who are willing to help you come up with some brainstorming ideas when you have a problem. And then, of course, your homework is your quick mood scale. Remember that scale? We totally want you to practice every day if you can, or as often as you can, to rate your mood. And here they're asking you what problem you worked on and that you were solving, what steps did you take, and how did it improve your mood? Because when we solve a problem, it improves our mood. It could be as simple as my kids don't put their dirty laundry in the laundry basket. How am I going to solve that? Sit down with the kids, come up with ideas, and then they do it, and you catch them doing something right. Your mood improves. They feel noticed and feel good about themselves, and you've accomplished what you want to accomplish. So we want to remind you that the Moving Forward group is always available to you. Please reach out for any support that you would like. We really want to be there for you. This work and this course and we as a team are there to help you be successful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.